Dr. Yamaoka is an associate professor and head of public relations of the office at National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. His research field is in supernovae, both actually theoretically and observationally. Professor Hitoshi will be talking to us about the activity relations office in National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. The floor is yours, Professor Hitoshi.
Thank you for introduction. Hi, now the time to talk about our activity. The background is, of course, virtual. It is 65 centimeter refractor, a very old one, in the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan, Mitaka campus, where I and Kumiko-san, the previous chairperson, are working. Of course, because of COVID-19, we have to work at home, so it is also virtually visited. Now, I will talk about our activity. And yes, can you see?
Yes.
Okay, I will start. I'm, as introduced, the chair of the Public Relations Office, and we are belonging to the Public Relations Center. Here is me. I have to make pointer. Here is me. You may know the top news of April 10 or 11, 2019, the first black hole shadow image. The press conference held simultaneously 6 places in the world. One of them was held in Japan, and like this. I made introduce the researcher to the press, and do you hear? Can you hear? How about this?
Yes, yes, we could hear. Yes.
Oh, good.
では皆さん準備はよろしいでしょうか。これからイベントプレゼンテーション最初の成果、紹介させていただきます。こちらでございます。これは人類が初めて目にしたブラックホールの姿です。見ての通り、まず綺麗なリング、輪っかが見えますね。そして非常に重要なことにその真ん中が黒く抜けているということで、ブラックホールが光さえ出さない。
Yes, voices from media are hard, but in Japanese press conference, very quiet response was there.
ちなみにこの天体 M87 という銀河の中心の巨大物体。
Press conference holding is one of the main activity of public relations office, but many other activity held for the astronomy education and public outreach. The astronomy is very easy to reach branch of the science, the astronomy produce many beautiful images of astronomical objects, or the institute owned equipments are also the target to photograph. And such activity is very far from the daily living. They feel very away from daily life if they think about the astronomy. Many people say that astronomy never harm people, but not giving any good. Of course, it is not true. We bring very goods for the people. But yes, sometimes astronomy faces a severe situation. One of them is a TMT case where the opposition movement was occurred, and the construction is not moving forward, and there are many conversations with them. Another case is Hitomi case. Hitomi is also known as Astro H, which is an X-ray observing satellite constructed by Japanese astronomers. It is successfully launched on 2016 February, but during the test, it was lost by accident. Many newspaper or TV news says billions of yen are down to the drain. So the education and public outreach and science communication is very important for the move forward to the science. So there are many efforts to make such activity better. One is the workshop held at Caltech. That was joined workshop with public information officers in astronomy, TMT people or ALMA people or ASBAL people and me. And also the high energy physics people from CERN or KEK in Japan or Fermi in US. Many active discussion and workshop was held in 3 days. Another example was EPO, Education and Public Outreach session at APRIM. APRIM is Asian Pacific Region International Meeting of the IAU. It was held in once in 3 years. The latest one 2017 at Taipei. Of course, this year the April was scheduled to held in this September, but was cancelled. But 2017 session, we held one EPO session, which was the first time for the April. I don't know the such session are held in other regional meeting, but in Asia and Pacific Rim was this was the first time. There are many media people and communicators discussing and making some workshops. And also, we have a CAP meeting, communicating astronomy with the public. Is a IAU Commission C2 meeting in Fukuoka, Japan, 2 years ago. Many of you may probably attended that and enjoy discussion and stargazing with public. And this is the cake 40 ceremony. It was idea many Japanese science communicators or researchers. Now, I want to summarize what we can do with to reach the public. Researchers can reach public directly or via mass media or via new media or school teachers or music curators, museum curators. We press public information officers or education and public outreach communicators can contribute in this manner. For the first, the direct engagement with the public. In NAOJ, the astronomers visit to elementary and junior high school are held every year. About 80 schools per year, the astronomer from NAOJ visits. This was an example for last year. And I also visited many elementary schools and bring this ball as a model of the sun. In this scale, the Earth is 1 centimeter diameter, and the Earth is about 100 meters apart from the sun. We can show it in the map of the visited school. Also, I ate lunch, school lunch with pupils. There are many projects other than NAOJ held. This year, because of the COVID-19, we are planning to the remote visit, virtual visit. So it is a great advance that we can go anywhere so many elementary school for Japanese in abroad are wanted to virtually visit. So we will planning to visit such Japanese school in foreign countries. Yes, there are many relations are established with science journalists. Of course, newspaper or TV news are regularly broadcast about the astronomy. Of course, the recent results of scientific results are commonly broadcasted, like as black hole shadow or any other results from ALMA, SBARU, or any many other instruments in NAOJ, or astronomical events are also reported, like solar eclipse or bright meteor. Yes, I have mentioned about that 2 hours before or so. The fireball, very bright fireball was occurred in Kanto area and the meteorite fall. It was very sensational. And also there are many serious scientific programs, like this one is Nippon Hoso Kyokai, NHK's very good program introducing the research activity or historical astronomy or the communicating with abroad or such things. And also the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan is a place to visit. Many people visit, and regularly every day people can visit our campus freely. But in the situation of COVID-19, we cannot open the indoor inside of the buildings. So now you cannot see this telescope directly, but we hope we can open in near future. Many people are coming, including the traveler or the TV show crew. I and Kumiko-san presented the and guide for them. There are many scientific magazines in Japan, like National Geographic or Scientific American, which is translated to Nikkei Science. And also, there are 2 astronomy magazines, commercial based. They are published monthly and treat very wide field of astronomy and hobby as astronomy as research, astronomy as hobby. I make yes, I involved this variety show for the other people than astronomy fans. This is one case, comedian and the virtual character study. They study many aspects of not only natural science, but also the history or some other kind of studies. The quality of the program is different case by case, but it is important to think that never do things by halves. We should conduct very thoroughly. Here I introduce our PR video. It will go about 9 minutes, but there will show the English subtitle. Can you hear with appropriate volume?
Yes, yes, we could.
あの空の向こうからあの空の向こうから遥かな時と膨大な距離を超え届く宇宙からのメッセージ。あらゆる場所にあらゆる方向から絶え間なく人知れず届く宇宙からのメッセージ。求める答えはきっとそこにある。今日も私たちは宇宙からのメッセージを受け止める。宇宙にあまねく存在するという謎の物質ダークマター。姿は全く見えず重さだけが存在するという。ここはハワイ島マウナケア。国立天文台が誇るスバル望遠鏡がその謎に挑んでいる。
Like this.
だけ宇宙に生命存在の手がかりを探す。 TMT はかつては SF だったようなことにも果敢に挑み答えを出そうとしている。見える、聞こえる、宇宙からのメッセージ。人も探査機も行けない宇宙の奥深く、これからさらに待ち受けているに違いない未知との出会い。宇宙を知りたい、謎を解き明かしたい。国立天文台は今日も宇宙からのメッセージを受け止めている。
Yes, This video you can see in our website. So if please visit there. This PR video was produced mostly in-house. In our public relations office, 3 members are hired as a video team. The plotting and the scripting are made by a person with brainstorming with outer scenario writers. And then direction or shooting done by these staffs, and computer graphics are also made by the staffs. Of course, actor and music composer is outsourced. But narration of this PR video was made by very famous voice actor. The name of him, my daughters are not interested in my jobs, but very interested to hear the name of the voice actor. And the music was originally composed for this video clip. It is very much as you heard. This project was very time consuming. It spent almost 1 year as a whole. But there are many shorter movie clips are made by in-house. This is a monthly guide of the sky, about 1 minute.
2020年8月の星空情報です。
For this August.
ご存知ですか？
Star Week is held in the
全国
beginning
的に
of
梅
the
雨が明け、
August.
8月は星空に親しむ習慣から
When
始
the
まりま
rainy
す。
season is over in
今
Japan.
月の注目はペルセウス座流星群です。
Meteor shower is
11日から13日にかけて
good
普段より多くの流星が出現します。暗闇に目を慣らし、月明かりを避けて空の広い範囲を見渡しましょう。21時頃から見え始め、未明に向かって多くなります。明け方には東の空で金星が明るく輝いています。下旬は伝統的七夕の季節です。夏の夜空を楽しみましょう。8月の月の暦です。4日に満月を迎えます。
It's like this.
2020年8月の星空情報です。
Yes. Now I proceed. There are other activity of using such movie or video. One is a stargazing live show using a public outreach 50 centimeter reflector. About once in a month, once in 1 month or 2 months, we held a stargazing live show like this. This is a test part about oh.
土星の衛星の中で一番大きな衛
Yes,
星で、
I am
とても濃い大気で、その大気
commentator
の、そこにはメタンの海があるというのが知られてい
explaining
ます。
what is what you can see or about the
この、タイタン
many
っていうのはやっ
topics
ぱり
about the
もし
sub,
かしたら生命がいるのかもしれないというふうにも考えられているような天体。
next stargazing will held in
では次に土星
this
本体
next week,
クローズアップして見てみましょう
August 24 to 28, the first clear night.
はい、これは50センチ望遠鏡の方のカメラの
5,000 or 10,000 people
輪がと
watch
ても大
this
きく見えます
program
ね。
on time.
土星は太陽の周りをおよそ30
There is another live show like a lecture in June or July. It is rainy season in Japan, so we cannot do such stargazing live show. So we held the lecture like this. Other video is based on YouTube, but there is other site for such live show in Japan. Like, よいしょ、よいしょ。Okay, this is the example.
が全体をですね超えるような明るさを出していまして、
Can you
こ
hear
こが、
and see?
我々活動銀河の中
Yes,
心
yes, we
部
could hear you.
ですけれ
Okay.
ども、ものすごい高いエネルギ
This
ーを
platform,
放
the
射しています。
comment appears
でかつですね、
on
その
the
中心部からこれ光の筋がですね、右の方にあるのが分かるかと思います。でこれ
it
が
is
Z と呼ばれ
very
るもので、
interactive.
これ何回もですね時間を変えて写真を撮ってみると、これが、ね、中心部から外側に向かって動いてるんですね。でこれが大体光の速度と同じぐらいの速度で動いていて、ものすごくこれも高エネルギーな、噴出現象です。でもこういうことからですね、この今17のこの中心部には何かこういうとてつもないエネルギー活発をもたらす存在があると、それが巨大ブラックホールではないかというふうに、昔から言われていた。
Okay. Such online this black hole lecture interact is very interested. More than 10,000 people seen saw this program. And also this year, the online lecture is very appreciated. So in the very beginning of March, our Prime Minister stopped to the elementary, junior high, and high school immediately. Such school close for such school close. We plan to online lecture for such students and held very early timing. It was held five times, and we are planning another online lecture. And also in June 21st, there was solar eclipse in Asian region. we made a live show with the Ishigakijima Island, southwesternmost of Japan, and Hokkaido, northernmost part of Japan, because mainland of Japan is a rainy season at that timing, and in Mitaka we cannot see the solar eclipse at all. It gets many views, over 300,000 views, and including from abroad, especially from Russia and Ukraine. Probably they see the earlier part of that eclipse, and after ending at their place, they enjoy the later time. Yes, and in our public relations office, we are promoting the citizen astronomy, citizen science for Japan. About this activity, Galaxy Cruise, Kumiko-san will introduce in this GHO meeting at August 27, 1:55 UTC. So please hear about the in detail. I only introduce the introductory movie.
You can see various types of galaxies. How did such a variety of galaxies come to be? Therein lies the history of the universe. Let's start on a journey to travel around many galaxies.
Okay, I have introduced many examples. In this speech, the public information officers or education public outreach communicator will contribute the engaging these people. I have not introduced about the teacher training, which is held also in NAOJ, but by other branch of our center. This is a summary. Such public information officers or education public outreach communicators activity is a lifeline of national science. Good relationship with citizens and journalists are very necessary. It needs a quick and appropriate when we get some requests, questions, and their wants. We should make use of everything. We have some backgrounds and personal connections. Usual way, like the open lecture, open house are still needed, and it is often used. But new media or new method are also effective for such activity to communicate and engage people to the astronomy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Hitoshi, for this nice presentation, and really I like the effort you are making actually to communicate astronomy to the public. The outreach activities is very, very rich program. I'm quite impressed by your projects in the Office of Public Relations. This is extremely wonderful. We have like a question. I'll start by Ren Matsusaka. He's from Kagoshima University. He's saying, I think it's difficult for Japanese schools education to do anything to get students interested in astronomy, because education in Japan tends to be an education to pass the exam. But this is basically everywhere, it's not only in Japan. On the other hand, museums and science events attract a lot of people who are already interested in the subject. So what can we as university students do to get children who aren't yet interested to look up into space?
Yes. In order to get more attention from non-astronomical fan is the great challenge for us, of course, also. We conducted many methods. Yes. Twitter was the method we used, and make weekly quiz for people. It is not on for the children, but many other people than the astronomy fans, I think. It is not specific for the children, but you can find local astronomical events like Tanabata stargazing party, or such things can attract the children who are not with astronomy in everyday life.
Yeah, one of the things that we are doing actually at our university here in Morocco is that we have an astronomy club made by students. And these students, they have a program, outreach program. They go to schools and introduce astronomy to pupils. They do some stargazing event and so on. So students are very, very important actually in the program of astronomy outreach to the public. I do have another question from Kok Chung Chin. Hi, Professor Hitoshi. Sorry, I'm not sure if Japan is doing this. I would like to suggest NAOJ to have some astronomical camp workshop for both primary and high school students in the national level annually, so as to further develop their interest in astronomy. Invite the teachers as well. Thank you.
Yeah. For high school students, there was a observatory visit program to make research, short research, 2 or 3 days research. In Mitaka, it was held about 10 years ago, but now we are doing it at Ishigakijima Observatory. And also, University of Tokyo Kiso Observatory held Ginga Gakko Galaxy School, which is probably very good scale high school student visit for the research level observatory. Also, many universities or the public observatory in Japan held such programs. And also, we are teacher training course we have in NAOJ. It is held by Education and Public Outreach Branch office in our Public Relations Center, which is directed by Agata-san. Agata-san is also participating this G4 2020. So please contact him for detail.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Professor Hitoshi. I do have because there are no questions from the public, so I do have a few questions.
Yes.
In your work in this office, like, do you set some yearly objectives that you want to do this and this? You have objectives for every year. So how do you work actually? It's and how do you evaluate the performance of the office or of your office, public relations? How is it evaluated on a yearly basis?
It is very hard to answer because we are developing such evaluating system. We have not established the quantity level evaluation, but in quality level, we have many assessments from outer people. For example, last year, we conducted international review. It is held once in 3 years. Such 1 year activity was reviewed by ourselves.
So you have internal reviews.
It is also published in the report.
Okay. How many people work in this public relation office?
In our office, about 10 people are working.
10 people, yeah.
3 are working for the web or SNS, and 3 are for the image and images, and 2 are for citizen science, and 3 are for press release or international relationship. And of course, many outer people than our office are collaborating. Lina Canas in outreach, astronomical outreach, Office of Astronomical Outreach is one of our collaborators, and also in publishing branch, translation and English proofreader exists, and so on and so on.
Yeah, you have a wonderful team, actually. I really liked the videos. They are professionally made. They are very nice, very nicely done. And actually, you could reach a lot of people just using videos, and very, very nice videos that were developed by your team. It's, congratulations. Maybe another question. In stargazing live shows, I guess you are doing this twice a month, if I remember well.
Yes.
How are you doing it? Are you using a remote telescope or?
Yeah. Since before this winter, we are making live show. I am visiting the observatory dome, and every team member are really in the observatory dome, telescope dome. But after this April, the situation is dramatically changed. Only the staff in the telescope dome is really in the place. Probably 1 or 2 people is enough. And the communicator is in remote. It is also the case in the solar eclipse live show. I was in my house, and some staff in each place are communicating the image, solar eclipse images and their voices. Also, the uploading and switching and such combined work is also performed at remotely live streaming.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Professor Hitoshi. Is there anybody who have any other question for Professor Hitoshi from the panelists? Well, if not, I should just remind everyone that Professor Hitoshi, he's an associate professor. He's the head of public relations office at National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. And he gave us the talk. He presented to us the activity of the public relations office in the National Astronomical Observatory of Japan. Many thanks, Professor Hitoshi. I hope that we'll meet again